What the hell is going on? Everything feels weird.
Nothing feels the same.
It's all a lie. Almost everything we've ever been taught is a lie.
When you start thinking about something and it shows up on your social media feed, like you never verbalize it. And that's what happened to me.
We have been lied to since childhood about literally everything.
Since 2020, something has seriously changed.
Like something snapped in 2020 and never really healed.
I'm a nurse. I live through it. I work through it. People are not the same.
They just want to break people.
Have you noticed it too? Step out into any public square, any grocery aisle, or any workplace right now and you can feel it. Something fundamental snapped in the American psyche back in 2020 and it never truly healed. Millions of regular people are looking around and realizing that the bargain we were sold, work 40 hours a week, buy the consumer goods, trust the institutions, feels entirely hollow. It isn't just burnout and it isn't just economic stress. We are witnessing a massive, quiet awakening of people who realize the system is designed to keep them pacified, exhausted, and disconnected from actual reality.
You feel like the last 4 years of your life since 2020 haven't really felt like actual reality. This video is for you. I've seen a lot of videos on here, particularly from millennials, about how life since 2020 just hasn't, we almost can't even remember it. It doesn't really feel like it's been reality, and it's feel like it's been erased from our actual life. This is a very real phenomenon. It's something I've experienced myself, and I want to talk about it and hopefully help people out with it. The cause of this phenomenon is the fact that we're not living life in reality anymore. 2020 smashed our existences into our phones and into the digital world, and we are no longer existing in our physical space and only dealing with problems that are within our circle of influence. And we're also exposed to all of the awful things that everybody across the entire world deals with all the time. We are still organic beings, and our brains have become completely connected to this artificial device. That's what's destroying it. We're not cyborgs. We'll eventually be cyborgs. We're not cyborgs yet. So the fact that our entire existence is attached to this piece of technology is awful. And even in situations where we actually live life, where we break out of our routine, where we go on a trip, where we, take a vacation, you're still locked into your same cycle of unhealthy behaviors. Even if you go on a trip, the whole time you're thinking about your phone, what's happening in the phone, what are you missing out on social media? Oh, well, people are going to love this trip I'm on. I got to make sure I take videos and I post it and I get likes and all this stuff. We are no longer actually living life in our physical space. We are living life through the phone. This is why life does not feel like reality. It's because we're not in reality anymore. Life just seems to basically disappear when you're trapped in a routine. We are all in a routine of our brains being just completely connected to whatever is happening within this device. And on top of that, we all experience all the issues that go on in the world all the time. That's not healthy, okay? If it's not within your circle of influence, you really should not allow it to have any sort of impact on your emotional health.
I think by now, most of us understand that this is true, that we have been lied to since childhood about literally everything. Like everything that we thought was true, everything we were taught in school, everything we learned growing up, and everything we hear on the news, everything that people believe to be true is just not true. It's all a lie. But the question is why?
This is the biggest realization I had when I left the US. We live in the matrix here. If you feel like you've been indoctrinated to be a slave, it's because it's true. If your gut is telling you that this is not what life is supposed to be, it's because it's true. I promise you, all you need to do is buy a flight. Get the fuck out of the US. Don't move, right? Just go on like a 2-week trip just so you can open your mind, because the reality of it is we've all been indoctrinated since kids. And a lot of you guys who have this spiritual awakening and you're seeing the matrix for what it is, that's a good start, but you do need to get out of the US to really unlock the cheat code, because that confirmation when you step out of the US soil, when you're in another country, that confirmation of, oh my God, I am slaving my life away, slaps you in the face. So I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you hate your job, if you hate your situation that you have here in the US, buy a plane ticket. Throw a dart at a map and pick a random country and fly there.
What the fuck's happened to this world? I don't know. Since 2020, something has seriously changed because it feels so off to me. I know you can all feel it too, because I can feel it. Okay, and everything just feels so dull. Nothing feels exciting anymore, does it? You know, it almost feels like the life and soul's been sucked out of this world. And all we do is just work. All we do is work. Every day feels the same. It's like we're stuck in a perpetual loop cycle.
I don't believe any of the bullshit we've learned in school, anything the media tells us, and anything our government tells us. None of it.
Does anyone else feel like they're like living in the in-between right now? Like, you know, the way that you're living in the Matrix can't last forever, but you haven't really decided what your next move is. So every day you're just constantly masking and pretending with one foot in, one foot out the door, hoping that like your life's gonna get to radically change soon so you don't have to keep faking everything. Or is it just me?
I think the hardest part of having an awakening is the soul exhaustion that comes with it. Because once your eyes are opened, you can't unsee it. Once you see that politics are only an illusion of choice to keep you under control, you can't unsee it. Once you understand that the education system is only to teach you to obey authority and to indoctrinate you, you can't unsee it. Once you understand that the healthcare system is not to make you healthy, it is only to keep you sick. They medicate your symptoms. They do not get to a root cause, and that they've made you believe that anything holistic is snake oil medicine. Once you understand that the food is fake, and it's what gets you sick and keeps you sick and gets you into the fake healthcare system, you can't unsee that either. Once you realize that that social security number that was issued to you on your birthday is your employer ID for the Corporation of the United States of America, and that when you go to work to that 8 to 5 every day that drains your soul, once you learn that you've been indoctrinated to believe that the more education, the more money, the more success, the more material possessions so that you have to continue to work is all a lie to drain your soul and keep you so unfocused, you can't unsee it. Once you understand all of these things, you still have to participate in the Matrix. You still have to feed your family. You still have to pay your bills. You can't exit it, and it's exhausting. You have to walk around and pretend all day long. You participate in a system that you no longer believe in. I can't tell you how many of my friends and I have discussed that we're so sick of this. We just want a piece of land, basic shelter, raise some chickens, bake some bread, homeschool our kids. We no longer want to participate in the system. It's exhausting. It's all a lie. Almost everything we've ever been taught is a lie. And being forced to continue to live in the Matrix is exhausting. It's freeing. You no longer have to worry about the rest of the crap. When you take back control of your own life and know that none of it matters, you just do what you want to do. That's why when I said yesterday, I don't give a damn, I don't give a damn. This is my life. But it's exhausting to walk around with all these other people that don't see it for what it is and pretend that everything's normal when it's not. Tell me in the comments if this is you, because I want to hear. I want to hear about your awakening.
Why does it seem like everybody is just crazy? Like, I feel like I'm getting to the point that I don't even want to go out in the world anymore. Like, everybody's nuts. Is it just me?
Does anyone else feel like 2020 was the last normal year on Earth and everything changed, and then we entered another timeline that may or may not have been caused by CERN opening up a portal, and that we're living on this new timeline and we keep trying to go back to the old one, but it's totally inaccessible to us? Because same.
I don't know who else feels this way, but I've come to a point now where I don't believe anything from anybody, anywhere. And at the same time, I would believe almost anything.
Is it just me, or does nothing feel the same anymore? Like, I can't explain it. I really can't. Like, just nothing feels the same anymore. Holidays don't feel the same. Just nothing feels the same. Everything feels hollow. Everything feels off. Does anybody else feel like this? I know I can't be the only one that feels like this. I know there has to be others out there that feel exactly like I do because, again, everything just feels fake anymore. People feel fake. People don't feel the same. They treat you weird. They treat you different. Or they don't even acknowledge you. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on anymore. It feels as if days are just merging with one another. I just really can't explain the way that I feel, but I feel drained and just nothing feels the same. Does anybody else feel like this?
Conspiracy theory alert. You know how when you are talking about something and that something starts appearing in your feed as advertisements on social media? I get that now. I think we all kind of get that now. We probably expect that. But what happens when you start thinking about something and it shows up on your social media feed? Like you never verbalize it. And that's what happened to me. I was in my son's gaming center area and I looked at his gaming chair and I thought to myself, wow, that gaming chair is very, very beat up. That's a good Christmas gift for him. And I only thought it. I was the only one in my house. I didn't talk to anyone else. And then within 30 minutes, I sat down and started scrolling social media. And what do I find on TikTok and Instagram? Advertisements for gaming chairs. I have never had advertisements for gaming chairs showing up in my feed. And suddenly on TikTok and Instagram, there they are, gaming chairs galore. And I did buy one, which is beside the point. But how on earth does that happen? My conspiracy theory is that, and I know this sounds absolutely wild, but somebody is microchipping us. They have found a way to understand our thoughts and our brain, and they're linking it back to social media. I mean, it sounds bizarre, I know, but what logic exists other than that? Let me know.
Something changed all of us in 2020. And yeah, I am talking about the pandemic, but not the virus part. I'm talking about what came with it. The fear, the lies, the constant chaos pumped through every screen like it was oxygen. That was the year that people stopped trusting, stopped believing, stopped feeling safe, even in their own heads. And it's wild because almost 6 years later, you can still feel that shift hanging in the air. Like something snapped in 2020 and never really healed. Time doesn't even move the same anymore. It's like the world hit pause, but somehow everything got worse in slow motion. Before all that, we actually thought we had control. We thought science had the answers. We thought the media had the facts and leadership had some kind of plan. But then we watched them all contradict themselves over and over while telling us that we're the crazy ones. And now we're living in the aftermath of that gaslight. Everyone's divided. Everyone's drained. Nobody believes anything anymore. So yeah, something did change in 2020, and it wasn't just the world, it was us. We woke up, and the people who built the illusion, they've been panicking ever since. Because once the curtain gets pulled back, once you see the strings, you can't pretend that you don't.
Y'all, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. But I don't care what you say. People are different since that respiratory virus back in 2020. They're different. People are not the same. You can argue with me all day long if you want to. I don't care. I'm a nurse. I live through it. I work through it. People are not the same. I'm not exactly sure what happened, if it's PTSD, if they didn't get enough oxygen to their brain, but people are just not the same as they were back before that it came. I don't know. I don't know if it's because they were in their house for so long, they just got so used to not dealing with the public. Like I said, if it's because they didn't get enough oxygen to their brain and now they just have problems like communicating, but people are rude. They just don't know how to act no more. Have you noticed it, or is it just me? Is it just like healthcare people that we notice it more and more? But it ain't just at work that I notice this, y'all. It's just people in general, like in public. And you can tell. You can tell the ones that have been affected. I don't know. And maybe that's not it, but there's something. Something is not the same.
I am starting to think less and less that the goal of the propaganda, misinformation, and gaslighting that we get from our administration and mass media it's not anymore about getting followers, voters, and building this movement. I really feel like, and it looks like to me, that they have switched to intentionally encouraging, fostering, and nurturing a mass psychotic break. Why they would do that, I don't know. But I also have no idea why they've done a lot of the other things that they've done that I wouldn't have thought would happen. But all I can say is the things that I've witnessed and seen and read, like, it sure feels to me like they just want to break people. And I realize, as I'm saying this, I realize how insane and irrational this sounds. Like, I get it. But, I mean, I can't be the only one that's seeing this and thinking this.
I think the Truman Show is one of the best analogies for what it is like to live in our current world. Truman is constantly plagued by the reality that something is off in his world, that something is produced fake, that something is being hidden from him, that there is something wrong that he wants to engage with, that he wants to put an end to, but he doesn't quite know how. And if Truman were to put an end to it, so many wealthy people would lose money because Truman is the most valued intellectual property in his world. He just doesn't know it. There is so much Truman merchandise. There is so much advertising that is done inside Sea Haven. Truman is a vehicle for so much wealth. And Truman sees really none of that profit, none of that money, but he does have a fairly comfortable life that will probably not be as comfortable as the life he could leave it for. He's pacified. So Christoph and the showrunners, they do everything they can to pacify Truman. In fact, after the debacle with Beryl, they try to put this very conventionally attractive woman in Truman's office so that he can get with her. They do everything they can to pacify Truman, to make his life convenient, to keep him in this world. They even miraculously bring his father back from the dead. And for what? So that he cannot engage with actual reality, so that he cannot pursue the things that really matter to him. Our consumerist world puts so much pressure on us to exist within its own confines for two reasons: so that we can't engage with actual reality and make meaningful change, and two, because we are the vehicle for so much profit. We buy in to the consumerism. We are all Truman. And one question that remains unanswered after the Truman Show: what is the economic impact to the world of the Truman Show after the show ends and Truman leaves? They said that just the show alone has like the GDP of a small country. That country ceased to exist at the end of the Truman Show. And that is kind of a hidden problem that isn't explored, and also a challenge to our own reality, to fight against the very system that keeps us pacified and a lot of times makes us feel unhappy. To break that would be, I think, catastrophic to our way of life.
I just saw this video of this guy saying that nothing feels the same anymore. And that is exactly how I have been feeling lately. And I commented that it's because we are finally waking up. And I really cannot remember the last time that I truly felt like a feeling of joy and happiness. 3 years ago this weekend, my husband and I took our very first cruise together because we got together during COVID. And so we had to wait 2 years before we could take our first cruise together. And we finally did it. And that was actually the last time that I was truly happy, I think, and content and at peace. It feels like everything has changed. Food doesn't taste the same. Everything feels weird. Time feels off. And it's because we're waking up. It's like, how was I before I knew all of this stuff around me was fake and a scam, and I didn't ever think anything about it. And now that you know, it's like literally hurts your stomach on a daily basis seriously, nothing feels the same anymore. It's like the days are a blur. I don't know. Sometimes I say that I did things and my husband's like, no, you didn't. I'm like, yes, I did. Like, you don't remember that? And like, he can't remember. Or I misplaced something. I don't know where it is. And I know I left it in a certain place, but then I try to go look for it there and it's not there. But then I search all over and I go back and it's there. Like, what the hell is going on? Everything feels weird.
Does anybody else just feel like completely weird right now? Like, I know things are weird, times are strange, like we know this, but like, do you feel weird? I just posted a video and I was like watching it, I was like looking at myself and I was just like, is that me? Like, I don't even feel like me anymore. Something weird is going on. Like, time is not time. Time seems like I feel like I'm slipping in and out of time. And being within my body, I just don't like it doesn't really feel like we're actually here. This doesn't feel real. And I know we've talked about how things aren't real. We live in this weird simulation, but like, I'm really starting to feel it.
What if the reason everything feels fake isn't because you're depressed? What if the environment changed and nobody told you? Like, I really want you to think about it. Like, what if your intuition isn't acting up? What if it's picking up on something that your conscious mind couldn't fully explain yet? Because listen, people keep saying, I don't feel myself. I don't recognize people anymore. Time feels weird. Nothing excites me the same. And everybody keeps blaming trauma, burnout. What if it's simpler and way scarier? What if the frequency changed? Literally. What if the background signal that we live inside, what if it shifted? And the human nervous system hasn't caught up yet. That would explain the anxiety spikes with no trigger. That would explain why your sleep feels off even when you're tired. That will explain why people are disassociating and others are waking up all the way up. Because when a signal changes, the receivers don't all adjust the same. Some people glitch out. Some people start questioning everything. And notice who's struggling the most. People that are glued to their screens. People that are constantly distracted. The people who never freaking sit in silence. Because silence is where you notice the interference. I promise you. And that is why nobody talks about this. Because the moment you sit still long enough to feel it, you can't unfeel it. So if lately you've been craving quiet, nature, solitude, truth, real conversations, if you've been pulling away from the noise instead of chasing it, that's calibration. And before somebody says that's crazy, ask yourself this. When was the last time this many people felt the same unexplainable shift at the same time? Yeah, exactly.
The reality is, the post-2020 world didn't just change our economies, it shifted our daily existence into an artificial space. When you break it down, the constant economic anxiety, the lower quality of food, and the soul-crushing routine of the modern workforce aren't accidental. They are systemic. Like Truman in that old movie, everyday Americans are waking up to realize they are the engine driving massive corporate profits while receiving almost none of the stability or peace in return. People are exhausted from pretending that everything is normal when every metric of a stable life is slipping away. We aren't crazy for feeling like the baseline changed, we're just finally seeing the machinery for what it is. Does the world feel completely different to you since 2020, or do you think it's just collective burnout? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's talk about what you're seeing in your neck of the woods. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.